go.
The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Hirefastpodcast, a podcast aimed at educating you on hiring the right person for the right job and keeping them. Are you sick of spending precious time and energy hiring and training people just to have them turn around and quit? Then join Alan and his guests on Hire Fast as they teach you how to skillfully motivate and attract Rockstar Talent. Now here is your host, Alan Daviduk.
Hello, my name's Alan Daviduk, and welcome to Hire Fast, Episode 2. So today, we are going to talk about the SMART system framework, so how to attract, develop, and retain perfect fit employees through my SMART system framework without lowering your standards ever again. I call this the triple threat: attract, develop, and retain. So I do want to tell you about a guy I met named Tim, who we helped with the system. So I met Tim at a conference. He was a 25-year franchise owner with 5 locations, and he was super struggling with help. His managers were burnt out. His eating and his sleeping was a mess, so he'd come into work frustrated and irritable, and he'd lash out at people around him. I don't know if you've ever been there where you're irritated, you don't even know why. And his anger was so displaced just from the pressure of the business and not having employees and being like in a prison within the business that he would project this onto his wife and his kids and his customers and his employees. And the whole thing was imploding on him. And his corporation was drilling him, right? He needed help, and he called and reached out for help, and what did they do? They sent guys with clipboards to do inspections. And this is the beginning of the end for franchisees. I call it tourniquet pressure, right? It's the franchise just puts this pressure on you to break you and make you sell your restaurants. And the large franchisees, because of this, they know what's going on, and they're like sharks just swimming around, waiting to attack. They could smell the blood in the water. And they, really ultimately they want to take the stores from him, and they want to take them at a discount. They want to steal them from him. And they want to wait for that pressure to get so bad, and they just happen to be standing there with a check to buy his stores. So 25 years of work for Tim, 25 years of hard work and risk for what, right? To be in this bad place after all these years because he can't get people to come to work. He needed to make a change. So I could relate to every word that Tim said, because years earlier, when my family was with Dunkin' Donuts, we got thrust into a program that was called compliance, right? Which was nothing more than a way for the brand to want to refranchise your stores. It was a way for them to make more money for their investors and just add a line item where they would take the stores from you, sell them to somebody else, and they take fees along the way. So I could feel, everything that Tim was saying and all the pressure. And I told Tim I can help him. I said, you're not ready to go out like this, so let's put you in a position so you can leave when you're ready and your hand not be forced. And he said to me, I don't think this will work for me, but I need help so bad, and I just don't know what to do next. So I took Tim and his team through an unrecognizable transformation. They went all in with the SMART system. In just 90 days, he began to see overwhelming results. We slowly replaced all the underperformers. His best people were happy, confident, and they had a renewed energy. His managers went to war every day with the sole purpose of driving throughput, order accuracy, and providing value for their guests, which led to a sales increase for the network of over $300,000 in 1 year. And Tim now was able to delegate his tasks to his right-hand people, knowing that they would own everything that they did. And Tim was able to focus on his health, and he now had a new renewed energy with his family and his wife. And Tim was able to take that dream vacation that him and his wife had been planning for years, and just it wasn't in the cards at this stage for them to take it. So they went to Hawaii for a month. So now they became leaders with the best employees, and they were winning the game. So how was all this possible? So the SMART system is a continuous improvement framework that has 4 steps to it. The first step in the framework we call skillfully. This is where is Tim's organization where is it at, right? Where are they now and where do they want to go? Sounds simple, but so many business owners miss this and they want to go right to fixing the problems. They do no planning. So this is how we took Tim's team there. We took them through what we call the S.M.A.R.T formula. Tim's team, we did a workshop with them, and they left this workshop with hope and direction and progress measures to achieve the goals that they set. Many people call these progress measures KPIs, that's the fancy term for it, key performance indicators, but basically it's the plan of how to get there, the goal that you just set. And we created a compensation plan for Tim's organization that they named the unicorn because it was so unique and it was nothing like anything that they had ever seen before. And that none of their competition around them, they didn't know what was about to hit them. So the next step in the process, we call it motivate. We observed Tim's culture and environment, and just between the stress and the pressure cooker of the managers being burnt out and disengaged, they were literally pushing away good people. They didn't do what they said. They made promises to their employees, and it never happened, right? And people just generally didn't care. The environment was toxic. I was actually in one of the locations one day, and an employee was on break doing a phone interview to work somewhere else. I couldn't believe it. I called Tim. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So we created a system for Tim's company called the CARE method. This method is the 4 cornerstones of the organization that managers and their teams can follow to create an environment where people love coming to work. They want to be there. And this made all the difference. So the next step in the process, we call it attract. Their interview process was like a snowflake, right? No two of them were the same. I remember watching and observing this one interview, and it took the people like an hour to do this interview, and they spent most of the time like making exceptions and begging for the person to start working there. They just kept doing it over and over and over again. Every time the person was telling them, they had a list of more things that they couldn't do than they could do. If you had a candidate that couldn't do 3/4 of the things that you need, why are you bothering, right? And this is the problem in a lot of restaurants out there. They just need help so bad that they just lower that standard. It was really painful to watch. The candidates controlled the process. Well, not anymore with our attract method. The first step was we created compelling ads, we call them S.M.A.R.T ads, for Tim's job boards, the way he was attracting people. And people loved it so much that they had to come check it out. Even if I remember one guy said, well, I'm not even looking for a job, but I just want to come meet you guys because it was so amazing what I read. And then we installed the Hirefast tool, the Hirefastpodcast tool. The team had all the information in front of them that they needed to make a decision before they even met him, before they even scheduled the interview. They saved time and money by not hiring a bad fit in the first place. And they slowed down that revolving door. And we reduced their recruiting to onboarding process by 75%, which freed them up to do so many other more important things that they needed to do. So the next step in the process, we call it Rockstar Talent. And it's actually a 2-part solution. One part is development, and the other part is retention. So the development side, Tim's management, their regular training methodology was to just buddy people up. So they would bring someone into the company, and they would just place them with whoever was standing there, right? No warning, no notice. And the new hires, basically what you had is you had maybe someone that wasn't a great performer now teaching someone all the bad habits. And it's not a great system. And I walked into one of the restaurants to observe training, and I actually saw the people working and running around the restaurant and the trainee just standing there, leaning on the counter, checking their nails, checking their phone. This isn't a system that's going to make it work. So what we did is we took Tim's current training system that he wasn't using, and we put it through what we call our bucket system. And we transformed their training process. We trained, we actually selected staff members to only focus on training. Now, they still worked, but when trainees came in, this is where their focus and attention was. And this led to candidates functioning on the floor in 2 days and counting them on the schedule in as little as 4 days. Massive return on investment than his other process. The next piece is retention. So Tim's people felt lied to. They were made promises about advancement, and it just never happened, right? They wanted to learn. Yeah, we'll show you that later. So we fixed this with a one-of-a-kind tool we call the Rockstar Journey. This is a big part of our continuous improvement framework. It's a gamified development and self-evaluation process. And it's a journey, man, that we take people on from training camp all the way to Rockstar status. And Tim didn't just now retain people. He manufactured what we call rock stars. And here's what was most interesting, is that Tim had a lot of great people around him. He just didn't know how to engage them. His teams didn't know how to engage them because they were just burnt out. So then we installed the back end, we call it the engine, a software process for Tim's team to manage the entire process and have everything at their fingertips. So now Tim has no more corporate pressure. He has no more sharks circling around him waiting for blood. So next week, what we're going to talk about is we're going to break down each component, skillfully motivate, attract rockstar talent a little bit deeper, but I wanted to tell you Tim's story. So if you haven't already clicked subscribe or follow, please do so now so we can keep you up to date on Hire Fast. You can visit me at getsmartsystem.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom and fill out Learn More. And you can email me at alan@getsmartsystem.com. And you can call me at 1-888-3SMART-5. Ciao for now, and don't forget to hire fast.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.